Welcome to 10 TV Plus. I'm Dylan Robichaud alongside Jay Plyburn. And Jay, we actually have a pretty active setup here as we go into the next few days.
I'm excited.
So last week we had the extreme cold.
That wasn't exciting.
Not for anybody, I don't think. Today and tomorrow we have the wind, and then heading into Friday, we're tracking a big-time warm-up. We're going to be looking at our warmest temperatures in about 5 weeks. Then after that, we're going to be tracking some rain moving in, heading into
a lot happening
late this week. A lot happening, a lot on the docket. So let's talk about this. Rain out there today and tomorrow. Wind out there today and tomorrow. Gusts up to about 30 miles per hour. Any loose items you might want to tidy up so that they don't go blowing into the neighbor's yard. Starting you off here early this afternoon, and the winds are not actually bad. And in fact, I think tonight is when they start kind of howling out there. Take a look at this right here. Obviously, the darker the color, the stronger the wind. By about 4 o'clock from Kenton down to Marysville, Urbana, ooh, look at that, 30, 35. But then look at this by 7 o'clock. There could be an isolated gust, perhaps up to 40 if you look up there in Kenton, even up towards Delaware County, where it's about to get a little bit windier out there heading through the day. Now, as we look at this, what is the main impact with the wind? It makes it feel like it's a lot colder out there. So today's actually one of our warmer days that we've had in a long time. We're looking at highs in the 40s, but look at this. When you factor in that wind, look at this. Exhibit A. Temperatures will be feeling like around 32 degrees out there. What did the next couple of days have in store? Today we've got your wind. Tomorrow we've got your wind. But then look at that by Thursday. Now we got that south wind. That's going to be allowing for warmer air, but it's not as strong as we head into the later half of the week. Now, as we get a look here at those temperatures heading into this evening, again, dropping down to around freezing. And then as we look ahead, Thursday night going into Friday, here comes our next weather impact, okay? Looking at some brand new data, we are tracking heavy rainfall here. The worst of it happens on Friday morning, just in time for that Friday morning commute. So the rain starts after sunset on Thursday. The heaviest, I'm thinking between about 6 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning on Friday as folks are heading off to work and school. Tapers off, though, as we head into Friday afternoon. And so you're probably thinking, I thought my weekend was going to be wet. Not anymore. We completely stripped out the rain chances heading into Saturday and Sunday. And in fact, the bulk of the moisture, look at this right here, the tip of the iceberg on Friday. Look at that 90% chance of rain. And then quite literally, it's all downhill from there heading into Saturday and Sunday as things eventually dry up. And then look at that 60%. That's for Thursday night after the sun goes down. By and large, Thursday, you get a dry day, but Thursday night looks very wet. Now, as we look at the upper level setup, look at that right there, a little weak disturbance coming in through northern Canada. That actually misses us altogether. If you are traveling to northern Ohio, you may get a flurry or two out of this. But where's our storm? It's coming in from the Gulf of Mexico. And think about where the moisture source is. From the Gulf, you have a lot of moisture kind of jam-packed into this tight area. And then watch this here as this warm front moves up to the north. Just along the leading edge of that warm front, that's where the heaviest rain will be. Heading into Friday, we get socked in with these heavy downpours and then low pressure, counterclockwise spin. It's trying to tug in that cold air, flipping it over from rain to snow. I don't think it happens. And in fact, I took out all snow chances for Friday and Saturday here. I don't think that rain snow line makes it to central Ohio. So we stay snow free for the foreseeable future. Now, how much do you get? The green right now, we're looking at about 3/4 of an inch to over an inch. But then look off down to the south. Some areas could be looking at an isolated pocket of 2 inches. I'm only sharing this with you, though, because if that low jogs up to the north, maybe 100 miles, we could tap into some of that heavy moisture, maybe see 1.5 or 2 inches. I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm actually leaning towards these amounts right here, but I just want to give you some nuances here in case that track does venture a little bit further to the north. Now, town by town, this is what we're looking at. The latest model, and this was updated within the last 30 minutes or so. Generally speaking, just slightly over 3/4 of an inch. But notice here, the common denominator, south of I-70, higher amounts of rain, north of I-70, lower amounts of rain. And so someplace like Bucyrus, you guys might only get 1/2 of an inch. Down to the south, if you live down towards Piketon, Jackson, you guys might be looking at maybe an inch plus. All right, so it's important to know your location on the map because it will vary based on location. Something else I want to talk about, the cold. The temperatures are going to be really changing over the next few days. And I want to summarize the last couple of weeks because take a look at this. Over the last couple of weeks, the coldest day, January the 20th. How bad? -3. The coldest high temperature also that same day, 11 degrees for the high temperature. All right. So those days of wind chills of -20 are beyond us. That is some good news. We're going to be looking at some improvements here in the temperature department. Average high 37. That's that horizontal line right here. Look at that. By Friday, we are eyeing 52 degrees, the warmest that we've seen. And then we have a 15-degree drop Friday going into Saturday. And then that warms up a little bit as we head into Sunday of this upcoming weekend. Why are we looking at this roller coaster ride? It all has to do with the jet stream. What is your jet stream? It's a big tunnel of wind up around 30,000 feet. It really controls where cold air sets up and where warm air sets up. And so here's your jet stream right here. Look at all the blue on the map right here. Again, you have that cold air across the eastern seaboard. Now we're tapping into that supply of warm air. That warm conveyor belt is coming in from the south, and that is going to make a whirlwind of difference late this week. Look at this, warming up to the 50s by Friday. And in fact, if we do make it to the 50s, that would be our warmest day since December 29th, okay? I looked it up. That would be our warmest day since then. So that's about a month ago. So we have not seen temperatures this high in quite some time. The Climate Prediction Center's outlook coincides with my outlook as we head through February 5th to the 11th, showing that just about all the eastern seaboard will be abnormally warm. And then as we look at rainfall chances again, heading through the first week and a half of the month of February, above average rainfall. I don't see that changing anywhere anytime soon. Temperatures, though, warmest by about Friday, 52 for that high. Notice that they do get a little bit cooler as we head into next week, but we really kind of settle into average. The first half of February, we were down here. The second half, we're up here. And I think that the balance is going to kind of lie in between where the average for this time of year will be in the 30s. Now, as we look at the next few days, again, to kind of summarize what we're looking at here, by Thursday, we have that system rolling on in. Thursday night, heaviest rainfall Friday morning, tapering off heading into Friday afternoon, and then heading into Friday, 52 degrees for that high temperature, tapping into some mild air, some of the warmest air that we have not seen in about 5 or 6 weeks. So that will be a big change on the way. Saturday, we nosedive, 37 degrees for the high, and then 40s expected for Sunday and Monday. And then as we head into next week, it gets a little bit cooler, but what we're not seeing are the teens and the 20s, and we're definitely, Jay, not looking at the single digits anytime soon.
Thank goodness. You know, we've talked about the cold and the wind. We should count our blessings, though, because at least we have sunshine. I got out and walked for a while yesterday. It was cold, but to be able to experience that sun, it's not great like it could be this time of year.
People talk about like that seasonal affective disorder.
Sure.
It gets real this time of year because we get so many dreary days. I mean, we average about probably 20 cloudy days in the month of January. Mm-hmm. So just even getting a day or two that you can kind of sprinkle in some sunshine makes all the difference in the world.
Get out and enjoy the sun when you can. Just dress appropriately.
Yep. Do you know what's happening this weekend?
I don't.
No, you don't. Groundhog Day on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
That's today's weather trivia question. Let's go ahead and get a look at today's question. Jay, how often is the groundhog correct?
Well, never. It just happens to line up with.
Keep in mind, this is a rodent.
Okay.
40%, I got to read off the questions. 40% of the time, 80%, 90%, or 100% of the time?
It's not 100% of the time. I'm going to say he's right 80% of the time.
80% of the time. I think I mentioned before that there's probably a good chance that you would get this wrong.
You
and
did.
I only say that because a lot of
it's only
40% of the time.
Come on, Punxsutawney Phil.
Punxsutawney Phil, got to do better. Yeah, Punxsutawney is actually right about 80% of the time, or right 40% since 1887.
It goes back that far that we've been keeping an eye on the groundhog, watching his shadow?
Right, over 130 years.
Wow.
Now take a look at this right here, all right? So over the last 138 years, he's been right about 40% of the time. Some of the irony here is that you could quite literally take out a quarter, heads or tails, and flip it, and that would be right 50% of the time. So, you know, I would not wager my bets on a rodent, but I think there's a little bit of superstition there. I think some people get caught up in the tradition with it, and yeah, I'm fine with the tradition. I think it's fun.
Better off with the Farmer's Almanac, really.
Yeah, exactly. But we have modern day science for a reason. People give a flock to meteorologists, but you know, I don't want to sound pompous. I think our scorecard is a little bit better.
100% better than Phil's.
Right, exactly. I think we get at least 60%.
I'll give you 70.
70, 75. All right. Well, that does it for us here on 10 TV Plus. Jerry Martz has your forecast on 10 TV News starting at 6.